Good morning, everybody. Pastor Stitch, Narrow Path Christian Church, BC, Bay City, Michigan. Welcome to the Biker Devotional. So, this morning as I'm dealing with life and just spending time with God, talking to Him about all that's going on in the world around me, and just dealing with the distractions that come with life. And I'm looking at some things in myself, trying to work out what's going on. And the one thing I'll remind you is I am growing daily in Christ, right? And in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, Paul has this to say to the church in Corinth. And now, I want you to understand, this church is hyper-spiritual, as it were. They're speaking in tongues, they're prophesying, they're doing miracles, all kinds of great things through the gifts of the Spirit, right? And Paul has this to say to them as they're interacting with the Spirit of God and doing ministry. Brothers, I was not able to speak to you as spiritual people, but as people of the flesh, as babes in Christ. I gave you milk to drink, not solid food, because you were not yet ready for it. In fact, you are still not ready, because you are still fleshly. For since there is envy and strife among you, are you not fleshly and living like unbelievers? And as I read that this morning, it reminded me that so much of my life is me. So much of my life, that is where I'm at. I'm still feeding on the milk because I still have so much growth. I was reading in so many different places this morning, but Jesus in John was telling us that we're part of His plan, and that He's going to send the Spirit for us to dwell in us. And He reminds us that for us to be accepted by God, we have to live in that Spirit. That is working out that process of recovery in a real way, this process of sanctification. Step 12 tells us, having had a spiritual experience as a result of these steps, having been able to start living in the Spirit as a result of these steps. Now, AA didn't put it that way, and none of the step programs do, but I'm going to. Having had a spiritual experience as a result of these steps, as you start to live in the Spirit as a result of these steps, you're going to strive to share this message with others and to live them in all of your life, right? And so I remind myself on a daily basis that I haven't arrived, that I need more. It's interesting that while I interact with people and they come to me, call me pastor, and yet when I start to share, they need to be heard more than they need to hear. And I get it, because I've been that guy. And I understand. And the one thing that didn't do me any good back then was for people to argue with me, because I was arrogant and prideful, and I thought I knew something that I didn't. Yet they had what I wanted, and I went to them because they had what I wanted, and yet I needed to tell them that I knew what they needed to tell me. I was so foolish. I was a child needing milk. And I'm grateful for the fact that God reminds me of that today. How about you? Where are you at in your walk? Are you willing to be a child and continue to grow, to feed on the milk that's available to you right now, so that you can grow and learn how to walk in the Spirit, to talk in the Spirit, to pray in the Spirit, to do works in the Spirit? Are you willing to work that process out so that you start to understand the mysteries that Paul talks about, that are divined only through the Spirit? Are you ready to start letting the Spirit teach you all things, like Jesus said when He said He was going to send the advocate? These are the processes we're going to be talking about this year at church. but I hope through snippets here as well on the Daily Devotion. I love y'all. I truly do. I wouldn't say it if I didn't. I pray for you guys on a daily basis. I appreciate the ability to share with you. And I would remind you, and I'm only doing this because somebody told me I need to, but if this speaks to you, I would ask you to like it and share it. Don't be afraid to go to the Pastor Stitch YouTube channel and like that. There will be extra content on that channel that won't be here. So I encourage you, go ahead and do those things. I love y'all. I hope you have a great day. God bless.